Hello Internet, it's nice to see you again. For those of you that might be new to this channel, I just would like to welcome you and introduce myself. My name is Lynch. I usually host a pretty automotive based channel here on my YouTube channel. So you'll usually catch me here in the garage wrenching on one of my cars.
How do you feel?
Engines out. At the racetrack drifting one of my cars. Or you'll catch me somewhere else in the world working on a stunt driving job because that is my profession. Because let's face it, YouTube does not make me that much money. But I wanted to do something a little bit different today. So for those of you that aren't so new to this channel, you're probably wondering, Bree, what the heck are you doing? Let me give you a little bit of background really quickly before we jump into this video. For those of you that don't care, feel free to skip to this timestamp right here to get straight to the information of this video. But for those of you that are still around, hi, I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here and thank you for listening to me. So, for those of you that aren't so new to this channel, you probably realize that this is a little bit out of the ordinary for me and you're probably wondering what the heck is going on. Let me tell you. First of all, I'm still in quarantine in Canada. You guys know that I was trying to come up with new video ideas of what I could be talking to you guys about while I'm in quarantine, but some of you guys are probably also very aware of the fact that I am a very active YouTube watcher. I watch a lot of YouTube, probably more often than I watch Netflix or anything else. I just think there's so much information on this platform and I absolutely love it, but I'm getting off track. So, the other day I was in quarantine under my blanket watching YouTube on my iPad, and I was watching one of my favorite content creators. They were doing a masterclass with Epidemic Sound, and I was watching this masterclass on YouTube, and the content creator got asked the question, what is the fastest way to grow your YouTube channel? And their response was lengthy, of course, because they were in the middle of a masterclass and they were talking to a huge audience of people. So of course they had to drag out their conversation a little bit. But something that really did stick out to me in their response was, what value are you bringing to your audience? And I literally sat there for a minute and I was like, what value am I bringing to my audience? And they were basically explaining why value is so important in your content, because that's how your content is going to be shared around. Because if there's no point to your content, what's the point of your content? Why would anybody ever share it? And obviously the fastest way to grow is to share, right? And your content getting shared around is the fastest way for you to grow on any kind of platform, of course. So I was just kind of thinking to myself, and I was like, what exactly am I providing for my audience? Obviously I'm providing a little bit of entertainment. That's great and all, but what else am I doing for them? And I couldn't really figure it out because obviously I'm not directly teaching you guys how to do anything to your cars. Of course you guys are going to learn some stuff along the way, but I'm not like I'm not doing like how-to videos. So like, I don't think I even have any how-to videos on my channel. But anyway, I'm not doing like how-to videos. So I was like, what is my purpose in life on YouTube? Like, what do I do here? Like, what's the point of my channel? And it just went into this whole spiral and I just was like, you know what? There's a lot more to me than just building cars, and I think that I have a lot of stuff to talk about. So I was kind of thinking that maybe if I brought you guys along on these other experiences that I'm having in life, maybe it could provide a little bit of value to you guys. Just because I know you guys like listening to my story times and me telling you guys stories, and you guys watch me wrench on my cars and watch me drift my cars and all this other kind of stuff. But like, I want to do something different as well, and I just want to kind of dip my toe in this and see how this goes. So I figured maybe I could save somebody a little bit of time by making this video. I don't really know. So anyway, I've been talking for way too long. I'm getting really off track. Let's get back on track a little bit here. I wanted to make this video because I am currently in the process of making merch for the very first time. Now, I can't say that it's actually my very first time making merch because technically I've made merch already. I've had a couple of stickers that have been produced, sold out of all of them. I had jet tags that were produced. I almost sold out of all of them. They're actually still not sold out yet, so if you guys are thinking about getting jet tags, I suggest that you pause this video right now and click the link below. Grab some jet tags because I have less than 10 of each left, so I would snatch those up before somebody else does if I was you. But I guess what I'm getting at is this is not my first time ever making products to sell to my supporters. So I guess it's not my first time making merch, but it's my first time making traditional merch. I've made stickers before and jet tags, like I've said, but this is gonna be my first time ever making actual clothing. and I have not found a lot of videos like this on YouTube, so I just figured somebody's got to do it, so I might as well be the person to do it. And if I can help somebody save some time on their end just a little bit, I would absolutely love to do so, because let me tell you guys, I have literally been in this process for like a year. I doodled my first sketch, my first little mock-up of what I wanted in February of 2019 is when I first came up with a design and an idea of what I kind of wanted to do with my merch. And that was before I even had a decent following. I was just like, this would be so sick, somebody needs to make this. So it's taken me this long to finally get to this point, and I don't feel like it should have. Granted, I'm the type of person that likes to collect all the information first before I just dive straight into something, which is probably what took me so long, but I figured if I could save somebody else a little bit of time, I would love to do so, and I would love to be of assistance. So you want to make merchandise for the very first time. You and I are in the same boat, okay? But I feel like I've been in this process for a little while, and I just kind of wanted to share the experiences that I have been going through to hopefully speed somebody else's process up. Or maybe you guys are just interested in this whole process in general, because I did not realize that there were so many steps that needed to be gone through. I didn't realize that there were so many people involved. So I just kind of wanted to break it down to you guys and maybe help somebody out along the way if I could. So I wrote all of my notes down on my very handy dandy iPad, because I cannot live without this thing, and this is literally exactly what I've been like living off of while I've been trying to get this done, okay? So first things first is you need a brand and you need a website. If you don't have those two things, I don't know how to help you. You gotta figure that stuff out first. You need a brand, you need a website first, okay? Because when you're branding, you obviously want to come up with a brand name, and when you have a brand name, you need to have your website match said brand name so that you're searchable and so that it's easy to find you. So I would suggest doing that first if that's something that you have not done yet. But after that, you need a design, okay? There's a lot of people that make merchandise and sell merchandise that don't design their own stuff. I don't really know how to help you guys if that is the boat that you're in. I'm not in that particular boat. I don't have a problem coming up with designs and ideas and concepts and stuff like that, because I find myself to be a pretty creative person. But I know that it is done even if people aren't the most creative or that's not their strong suit. And I would just suggest contacting a graphic designer that kind of gets you and like, I guess is kind of on the same wavelength as you when it comes to creativity, I would assume. But that's not the process that I'm in. The process that I'm in is I basically had an idea in my head and I sketched it out on basically a piece of paper, but I did it on my iPad because I was a little bit more technically advanced than a piece of paper, I guess. So I sketched it out on my iPad and I basically had to figure out what to do from there, because I basically just sat with that design since February of 2019 and I was like, now what? I have this idea and I have no idea what to do with it. So if you guys are at that same point as me, we're literally in the same boat right now. So what I realized was that my drawing needed to be made into something that was actually printable, right? Because if you're gonna buy blanks to make merch and have your merch printed on said blanks, you need to be able to have it printed onto the blanks, and nobody can go off of literally something that you sketched out on your iPad or on a napkin or on a notepad or something like that, right? It needs to be a real thing, like a digital file that somebody can actually do something with. So what I decided to do is I decided to contact my designer that made my little race car stickers for me as well, and I was just like, hey, I have these sketches, do you know what to do with them? Because this is what I'm trying to do with them. I want to have them printed into being actual merchandise. And he was like, I know exactly what to do. You need a vector file. Give me your stuff, give me your sketches, and I will make that for you and send them back to you. I was like, okay. So I literally handed my stuff off to him and showed it to him. He was like, hey, these designs are really dope. He literally made exactly what I wanted after like very minor tweaks that I had. Within 2 days, he made that. So basically, you need to contact a graphic designer and ask them to make you a vector file, which is basically a printable file that anybody can read. But I guess when it comes to the world of graphic design and printing and everything like that, they all use this program called Adobe Illustrator. And the way that I have come to understand Adobe Illustrator is that Adobe Illustrator doesn't work with pixels like Photoshop and Lightroom do, because it's not an actual photo. It's a digital file with no pixels. I still don't completely grasp the concept of it, but it's essentially kind of like Photoshop and Lightroom, where you can create these things online, but it's not using pixels, which is why they can use vector files to print stuff like billboards. And I'm not too unfamiliar with Adobe Illustrator because I know that that's how my renders are designed for my liveries for my race car and stuff like that. So I kind of already knew what it was, and I knew that it was a very similar thing to Photoshop, but it's a totally different program, but it's still Adobe. So that's kind of my understanding of Adobe Illustrator. So I had my vector file made after I sent my sketches to my graphic designer. So he basically broke my hoodie design down in multiple layers. He made the actual layer of each thing that needed to be printed, and then he made an overall file that looks like it's actually on the hoodie so that they know what the hoodie is supposed to look like as an end result, and they know where to piece each layer. So I thought that was really cool. That was a really cool process. I'll tell you guys the app that I used to make my sketch in the first place. It was called Adobe Sketch, and I thought that Adobe Sketch was really cool. I actually have it pulled up right here. I hope you guys can see this. There you go. Yeah, so I literally just Googled a blank sweatshirt front, side, and rear so that I could literally use my Apple Pencil and just start literally drawing all over the sweatshirt to create what it was that I had in my head, because I'm not very good with words and I didn't want to let somebody else design my merchandise. I wanted to actually do it myself. So made that sketch, sent it off to the graphic designer. He made a vector file, delivered it back to me, and then the next thing that I needed to do was I thought that I needed to find a printer. Was the next step that I thought that I needed to do. So I looked into the different type of printing. Luckily for me, I have a lot of friends that already make merch, so I was able to just ask a lot of questions that most people would have to like type into Google and search for like the next 10 hours trying to find the actual answer to it. Luckily for me, I was able to just ask some of my friends, so I learned the differences between printing very quickly. There's like 3 major styles, I guess, of creating merchandise and like how your merchandise is going to be finalized. Whether you want to do embroidery, I learned that kind of from Status Racing because I had my logo stitched into my Status Racing seat, and I also had my name stitched into my Status Racing seat. I also learned a little bit about embroidery from having my jet tags made. And then another type of finalization for your merchandise is screen printing. So screen printing is what you get on most hoodies, where you can actually feel what the design is on the hoodie. Like when you touch it, you can literally feel that it was printed on there. And then there's this other type of printing that's called DTG. I believe that stands for direct to garment printing. And basically the direct to garment printing is like they somehow infuse the ink into the material so that you don't feel it. So if you think about screen printing versus DTG, if you think back to when you're like in summer camp, right, and all the camp counselors go to like Walmart and they buy these $5 t-shirts and some paint for the kids to play with, and you can design your own t-shirt and everything, right? What a lot of kids do is they take the paint that their camp counselor gave them, they stick their hand inside the paint, and then they put their hand on their shirt to then have a handprint on their shirt. Sometimes they'll write their name underneath it or whatever, right? So I think of screen printing kind of like that. So you know how once the paint dries on the shirt, you can feel the handprint, or you can feel the paint on the shirt. Like you can physically feel where the paint raises on the shirt, and you can feel it. Like it's a physical thing that you can feel. And if you were to fold the shirt in that area, the paint would probably crack, and then you'd be able to see the t-shirt underneath. That's how I think of screen printing. Do you see him? He's sleeping. DTG should last you longer. DTG is the more expensive route, of course. DTG essentially costs you almost double what screen printing will cost you. So if screen printing is going to cost you anywhere between $4 to $7 a garment to print on, DTG is going to cost you $7 to $15 per garment, but to each their own. You can do whatever you want. But I thought that I needed to contact a printer next because I have this vector file and now I need to see somebody that can print it and can print the exact design that I want and everything like that, right? So that's the route that I thought that I needed to go next. But the next route that I actually needed to take was I needed to buy the blanks because the printer needs to have something to print on. So the next step that I really needed to take was to buy the blanks. So I was like, okay, easy enough. So I typed into the internet, buying blanks in bulk. Found a bunch of websites that I liked, but then I had to learn about different types of fabrics. But then when I was ready to buy blanks, I had trouble making logins for any of these websites to actually purchase them. So I was like, how am I supposed to buy these blanks? Literally, what am I supposed to do with this? Come to find out, I need a seller's permit or a resale license in order to buy these blanks in bulks from these websites. So then I had to figure out how to get a seller's permit. So then I went to this website that I'm gonna link right here below because I can't remember the name of it off of the top of my head, but I went to this website right here, called them on the phone while I was on the website, and I was like, hey, I need like a seller's permit or a resale license or something, because I'm trying to like make my own online clothing store and like I don't really know where to go. The application literally took me 40 minutes. The guy sat with me on the phone the entire time, walked me through the entire process. It did not cost me a dime, and I got my permit within minutes after I applied online. So for those of you that know me by now, if you're not so new to this channel, you know that everything that I do is a little bit more complex than necessary, and nothing is ever simple for me. So of course, what I designed is a little bit too complex for a DTG machine or for a screen printer. So now I'm currently trying to figure out a way to do it, and I'm gonna figure out a way to get exactly what it is that I want and what I'm looking for eventually. But once you get your stuff printed, then you gotta figure out exactly how much you're gonna sell your stuff for, and you're obviously gonna have to go through the whole photo shoot process, and you're gonna have to go through the whole marketing process and everything as well, which I have not done specifically yet, but I kind of have a little bit of an idea of what it is that I would like to do. I was just hoping that this video could help somebody, honestly. I don't know. I mean, this is just kind of what I'm going through right now. I know a lot of you guys have been wondering what I've been up to while I'm in Canada and while I'm in quarantine. And this is kind of what I'm dealing with right now. And I'm working really hard. I'm trying to figure out how I can get this done and how I can make this dream a reality, I guess. I'm learning along the way, and I wish that I would have been able to watch a YouTube video like this so that I at least knew the bullet point steps that I needed to take before I was going to be able to have anything created for me. So yeah, that's why I decided to make this YouTube video. But regardless, if you guys have made it this far, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you think that this video could help anybody that you know, do yourself a favor, do them a huge favor, copy the link above, paste it, send it to them. You could be helping them way more than you could ever imagine. And if you guys have made it this far, please click all the internet things below, all the YouTubers tell you guys to do, like, comment, and subscribe, and all those kind of things I shouldn't have to say out loud anymore at this point. It's 2020, people. That's about it. So, I'll see you soon. Bye!